This comparative study will explore how the science fiction genre examines humanity as a result of their different socio-political contexts, with references to Stanley Kubrick's 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey and Andrei Tarkovsky's 1972 film Solaris. In many respects, the comparison between these two films are quite justified due to their connected socio-political origins during the space race between the United States and Soviet Union, as well as their contrasting outlook on humanity within the genre of science fiction. In fact, Tarkovsky supposedly made Solaris as a response to 2001. According to an interview by Noam Abramov, Tarkovsky called the film phony in its approach to science fiction, stating that detailed examination of the technological processes of the future transforms the emotional foundation of a film as a work of art into a lifeless schema with only pretensions to truth. Indeed, 2001 approaches humanity by looking at our future in space. It explores the vast technological advancements which will allow man to uncover the answers to the universe. On the other hand, Solaris looks inward, taking a step back to view the things that make man man, even amidst our pursuit for scientific knowledge: love, desire, family, spirituality. The differences in approaches to humanity between these two science fiction films, however, can be interpreted as being a result of their socio-political origins. The end of World War II gave rise to a new political rivalry between two world powers, the capitalist United States and the communist Soviet Union. This rivalry extended into a battle to assert superiority in the field of technological advancements, and space became the new arena. At the peak of the space race during the mid-60s, the efforts of the US and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration were strongly enforced, with NASA's budget increasing by almost 500% from 1961 to 1964. In 1966, the documentary A Look Behind the Future was released by Warner Brothers, which promoted the release of 2001: A Space Odyssey. This documentary, much like the majority of 2001, emphasized on educating the public about the possibilities of space travel, as many were still skeptical on the United States' tremendous efforts in pursuing space travel.
The Apollo Saturn is being developed initially for the manned lunar program. It represents the culmination of the growth in technology that will enable men to leave the planet Earth, travel through space some 238,000 miles, land on another heavenly body, and then return safely home.
In many ways, 2001 can be seen as a propaganda piece. Alongside national media coverage, it played a large purpose in trying to incite a sense of ambition into the people of America towards the future of humanity that lied beyond Earth, trying to justify the government's space exploration efforts to the population by getting them to be excited and optimistic about the future of mankind. In many ways, it was this social-political factor that influenced Kubrick's approach towards humanity in the film to be more outward. The purpose of indoctrinating the public about space exploration is clearly weaved into the film's narrative that also serves to address the audiences watching in 1968.
Now, I know there have been some conflicting views held by some of you regarding the need for complete security in this matter.
On the other hand, Solaris came at a point after the peak of the space race when the Apollo 11 successfully landed on the moon and US astronauts became the first men to walk on the moon's surface. The battle had practically been won by the US as a result, combined with the USSR's failed attempts to land on the moon for the next 4 years afterwards. By 1976, the release year of Solaris in the US, the public frenzy and government interest in space had died down in both countries. Tarkovsky's vision was portrayed as anti-2001 through the lens of the Cold War by the Americans. However, more appropriately, Solaris acted as a coda or epilogue for the space race. While not only being a response to Kubrick's film, Tarkovsky's intentions were to address the moral implications of mankind in relation to the discoveries in not only space, but science and technology as well. Amidst all the public frenzy with space, Tarkovsky adapted Solaris to remind audiences to look introspectively at our morality that makes us human in the first place. In many respects, both films arose from a common but very different socio-political origin. They are two sides of the same coin, which manifests in their approach to humanity under the genre conventions of science fiction. Bruce Sterling, American sci-fi author, defines science fiction as a form of fiction that deals principally with the impact of actual or imagined science upon society or individuals. In other words, it is a genre that concerns mankind and our response to technological innovation and scientific shifts, not just science itself. Because of this, even for a genre concerning artificial intelligence and extraterrestrial life forms, most works under the conventions of science fiction are viewed from the perspective of man. While there certainly are exceptions, science fiction is a genre that, by presenting the implications of scientific progress, is able to call attention to the morality of man and what it means to be human in the truest sense. Looking at these two films, both 2001 and Solaris deal with the sci-fi convention of extraterrestrial contact. In 2001, technological innovation and human evolution was guided by a higher being represented through the monolith. Kubrick depicts the extraterrestrial in 2001 as beyond human comprehension. Much of the music that complements the monolith's appearances are ominous and instill a sense of ambiguity. When we're first introduced to the monolith, it is framed from a low angle that conveys superiority and intimidation. Even the design alone of the extraterrestrial being as a black rectangular prism evokes uncertainty with how vague it is. There are no visual cues that tell the audience what to feel, contributing to Kubrick's approach towards the extraterrestrial as beyond the grasp of human. Kubrick presents the limitations of our humanity in juxtaposition with alien contact, suggesting that the next step for evolution is to follow the footsteps of the monolith and into space. This is a consistent motif throughout the entire film, from the inception of man's first invention to the creation of HAL. On the other hand, Solaris tackles extraterrestrial contact as being a reflection of human comprehension. In the film, the extraterrestrial takes the form of Harry, Kelvin's dead wife, and nothing else. Tarkovsky suggests that our encounter with any extraterrestrial life will merely be projections that reflect back an image of ourselves and our humanity. Perhaps it can be interpreted that the depiction of the extraterrestrial in Solaris is as incomprehensible to that of 2001, but Solaris portrays alien contact as a source of human suffering through the reappearances of Kelvin's repressed memories on the space station. Tarkovsky presents our humanity as something we will eventually lose in our scientific endeavors. 2001 sees it as man's progression, while Solaris sees it as man's regression. Moreover, when Solaris deals with the sci-fi convention of technological advancements, it is often through a pessimistic and decrepit outlook. The set design of the halls of the space station that orbit Solaris are abandoned and defeated. The concept of space travel in the film is a depressing, unappealing venture where exploration and innovation have come to a halt. In the preparation for his trip to Solaris, Kelvin watches a video from a scientific conference that explains the issues on Solaris. Tarkovsky satirizes the misguided bureaucracy and their soulless aspirations of space exploration, which as a result has led to the alienation of man and himself. 2001, however, depicts technological innovation as awe-inspiring. There are plenty of exterior shots of spacecrafts that dance elegantly to the blue Danube waltz. The emphasis on innovation is certainly more optimistic than Solaris, but more so showcases, again, how deep questions such as the meaning of human existence and possibilities of the universe can be addressed through technological expansion. There is definitely a dichotomy between the philosophies of Kubrick and Tarkovsky in 2001 and Solaris. However, they were birthed from contrasting sides of a common social-political era that their themes are deeply entrenched in. Audience reception to Solaris in the US views it as the antithesis response to 2001, but as Philip Lopate writes for Criterion, these two films are more cousins than opposites. These two films demonstrate how the inquiry of not only film, but art at large and how it reflects the cultural context it was birthed from can disclose how our interpretation of history is impacted through art, as well as the role national agenda plays in the production of art.